This is going to be a full moon in Virgo reading. I have some channeled information about this full moon, but in order to get started, I just want to get right into the cards. Kind of back to basics, sort of down and dirty tarot cards. The High Priestess is coming through in this full moon. So, I have heard some people equate the sign of Virgo to the High Priestess in some ways, and I'm not really sure how that applies, but I do know that it is applying at this time. What I'm feeling intuitively is the importance of the Virgo-Pisces axis. So, first of all, I'm improvising. That might be something that's coming up for you. I actually almost guarantee it's something that's coming up for you. It's like something that you had plans to do, some way that you had something mapped out is not working, period, right? It's not working. The Virgo level details of this plan are not following through. It's falling apart, it's crumbling. But what of that Pisces, the opposite sign of Virgo, what of that Pisces, like higher ideal, big picture, can you hold on to even though the details are crumbling? Do you know what I mean? And that's intuitively what I feel is the most important message during this full moon. So even if you just want a quick message, that's it. That's what you need to know for it. It's like, even though the Virgo side of things is being expanded and almost like blown up, it's crumbling, what can you remember about why? It's that idea of like digging deeper and remembering the why of any situation you're in, any project you've started, the why of it. You know, digging deep to find that bigger picture that you need to when the going gets tough. It's kind of like that. I'm also going to do a special message reading I'm being prompted to after this, so tune in for that if this is resonating. Okay, back to the full moon. So, full moon in Virgo, 18th of March, 3:17 a.m. Eastern Time in the USA, 27 degrees, 40 minutes Virgo. I'm getting the end of heartbreak and getting yourself out of something. Even if this is like the culmination of some sort of pain or something you went through, it's like this is sort of marking the end of that. That's what I feel. I'm also getting flexibility. Where do you need to, or where can you be more flexible? Like I said, moving in the direction that you need to go, you want to go, you have set out to go, despite the detours, despite the details falling apart, crumbling, as we spoke about. It's about that Pisces Virgo axis. Pisces being the humanity aspect, the collective, and then Virgo being in service to others. You know, how are those two things playing out? Because every full moon or new moon has to do with the sign that it's in and then the opposite sign. It's always about that access and like pulling from both. Truly, I feel that very deeply. And at any time you can look to the opposite sign for some sort of advice or solution to your question, right? And what I feel is like the shift from that, it's like it's a sort of progression from that Leo Aquarius axis. Leo Aquarius being like Aquarius the group and Leo the self, and that back and forth. This is another step further. It's being in service to the other, and it's the big picture. It's the collective. It's humanity. And so, not getting caught up in the details of whatever's going on the ground, and losing sight of what is most important. Okay. The other very important thing is that there is a Pluto activation in this full moon. Pluto is, let me just double check. Pluto is trine the moon, and then Pluto is sextile the sun, right? So it's kind of like this neat little angle between the moon, the sun, and Pluto, and it's very important. It's very important. It has to do with transformation, but because it's a sextile and a trine, it's really beautiful. It's really nice. You know, it's not the square, the opposition, or even a conjunction where things could be a little bit messier. It's nice. It's like it's Pluto, but good vibes, right? You know, Pluto can be very destructive, but this is like minor destruction, more about like, it's sort of like tilling the soil or amending the soil for new growth, that sort of thing, where something is getting a little bit shaken up, but it's really for the benefit of all. That's how I feel. So what do we need to know about this full moon in Virgo? Like I said, some of you are improvising, some of you are being flexible, and Spirit is commending you for that, because there's a lot of weird energy right now, and not losing sight of the bigger picture is what is most important, and I feel that you will be celebrated, commended for that. Okay, full moon. Full moon in Virgo, what does this collective need to know? What does this soul group need to know? Okay, got 2 cards to start besides that High Priestess, which we're just going to leave out. 8 of Pentacles and the 3 of Swords. Like I said, I was getting that idea of coming out of heartbreak. Working your way out of heartbreak. That's so interesting. It's like, and it's also like working despite heartbreak. And the heartbreak doesn't have to be romantic. In fact, I'm not feeling it as such, although I know there are going to be a few of you who that is what is most relevant. But it's more like a disappointment or a loss in your life. Just a setback even. And it's working through it or working just in spite of it. But truly what it feels like is pushing through. It's getting through something despite whatever is going on. It's like working even harder. So it's not like, okay, just hanging on and continuing, or it's not just like, yeah, through. It's just that through is the most important part of this. It's using this work, whatever your eight of Pentacles is, it's using it to overcome this. It's actually not just surviving. So it's not just like surviving. It's using this to your advantage almost, to push harder, to fight harder for what it is you want, to prove to your spirit guides, angels, whatever, that what you want is actually so much more important than anything that could go wrong. And what I'm noticing for probably the first time ever about this card is that there is a tree here behind these pentacles, and the tree is standing out in particular because Spirit's indicating a time of growth, and they're acknowledging that you have grown and you are growing, and the fact that you're still pushing through this, still fighting, stronger than ever, is a testament to your growth, and they notice that. That's being noticed, that's being appreciated. Two of Swords, not really knowing which way to go. So that could be trying to make that decision between fully embracing the Three of Swords, just letting it take you over, or getting back to work despite what's going on. That's what this is, this Two of Swords. And it could be that you really don't know which way you want to go. You don't know, you're on the fence. Do you want to just like let this, you know, as I said, take you over? Just kind of swim in it, you know, that feeling of like wallowing in heartbreak, or letting a bad day turn into a bad week and just saying fuck it. Or are you going to get back up and fight? That's what this Two of Swords is. It's you. It's indicating that it's you trying to decide. Now, wow. To me, this is telling me that this is a really important time for you. And I know that that's like what comes through in all of my readings, but that's who I'm channeling for. I guess you're really important. No, I mean that sincerely. Like something about your soul, your spirit, your contribution to others is really important. It doesn't matter what you do, whether you're known or not. It's about your energy, and it's very important. So I know that this choice, this crossroads that you're at, is important. So I'm not being facetious. I'm being completely honest. High Priestess, what I'm getting here is it is written. There's something written. There's something about a hardship that is written. Now, I thought this was the kind of information that was going to come through in a special message, but apparently that channeling is going to be something else. Something is written here for you. Now, I just remembered with this Pluto sextile trine little activation angle. I'm getting activation, change, upheaval, but solution clicking into place. That's what the Virgo full moon is. Excuse me, I got it. That's what the Virgo full moon is. That is that point where in that change and upheaval, things click into place. So I think Spirit is asking you to make this decision before or during the full moon. So, you know, get right on it as soon as you see this video. How will they know how to choose? King of Pentacles. I know this is the card. King of Pentacles. Okay, this is king shit. This is boss shit. This is Eight of Pentacles shit. It's bossing up. Do you think this is the kind of person that's gonna let go of his business, his legacy, his whatever, just because there's a little bit of something going on in his life? Because his heart got broken? Because, I mean, this King of Pentacles energy can even become, like, distorted at some point, right? It's like, it can be that CEO who, like, loses track of his family, his wife, whatever, just as an example, because he's so dead set on growing his business. So that would be a distorted King of Pentacles energy. Or alternately, it would be someone who's after, like, get-rich-quick schemes. I wouldn't consider that the king, no. The king, I would say, where that would get distorted is going too far. That's also kind of a Plutonian thing because Pluto rules wealth, right? So it's not about that. My point is just, do you think this is the kind of person who's going to let a little bit of inconvenience, of even tragedy, of setback, knock him off this throne, remove him from his business, what he's working on? You know, I was really thinking about, like, stories of very successful people, and I didn't have a particular example, but I was thinking of how it's sometimes common, you know, to hear stories of people who have done very well for themselves, who have been through a lot of setbacks. And there are plenty of others who just, you know, that's a privilege they've been given. But this is someone who's been through a lot of setbacks. Let's just get back to it. But deep down inside of them, there was this knowing that there was something more important than letting those setbacks control the narrative. Or even using those setbacks as part of the narrative. That's what it is. It's like, with this pentacle, there's something about writing the story. It's like written into the story. In the High Priestess, that scroll I got, it is written. There's something written into the story. And maybe that's what this eight is. I keep saying ace. This Eight of Pentacles is. It's writing the story. So maybe that's just a quick suggestion that in your mind, or even in your journal, or whatever, it's taking the events that are occurring to you and instead reframing the situation to be events that are occurring and you happen to be part of that story. Does that make sense? It's kind of a sensitive subject, right? Because you don't want to dictate anyone's experience, but it's sort of like reframing whatever is going on around you, if it's negative, not as like it's happening to you. It's that you are part of a situation that has happened. Does that make sense? It's just pulling back your power and standing in it. And that's the decision. Are you going to get back to work, or are you going to let heartbreak, disappointment, betrayal be the thing that gets you down, that throws you off? This is an extremely important turning point. I don't want to freak anyone out, but when I was explaining that, it's like my thought pattern went to that High Priestess, and she's kind of like the be-all, end-all. That's like the beginning and the end. She's there when you're born and when you die. It's sort of like that, and it's like making this decision makes or breaks you, and it doesn't have to do with physical death. It's just whatever it was that you're destined for, this decision, whether you're going to give up now or not, will make or break that destiny. It's like Either you will continue on that blueprint that you are meant for, or you failed and you're going to get a new assignment, but it's not the greatness that you're meant for, that you came into this life to do. And this Virgo full moon is like the turning point of that. I just got a bit short of breath. It was like I had my breath taken away. So I don't know if it's because I'm saying something I'm not supposed to, or it was just an illustration of like a gasp of like how important this is. All right, let's continue. I am absolutely dying for a coffee. I don't know if that is relevant for someone, but that's what... Maybe you're feeling worn out. I don't know. I know I am. Ace of Wands. But I'm excited to be working. Excited to be working. That's this. Okay, so that idea of energy and vitality and work. So, okay, what do you get excited about? What really does it for you? Do you know what I mean? That's the Ace of Wands. It's like passion. It's like what gets you out of bed in the morning. And if you don't have that, you need to find it. Because we all have access to it. I'm telling you, you just have to find it. That might be, if you're someone who's not really in touch with that side of yourself, that might be a goal for you this year. And with that Virgo analytical kind of sensibility, maybe a lot of you do resonate that way, that like you do what's expected of you and what is needed of you, and that's very honorable. However, there's some room in your soul for something bigger and deeper, and you know that it's there, but maybe you've lost track of it, or maybe you don't remember how to find it. And perhaps if need be, you need to put this into your schedule, your calendar, whatever, like time to find your passion. I'm not joking. Write it in 10 minutes a day. Leave that space for yourself to daydream, or to go on the internet, or to listen to music or something that helps you find this. Or to like look through a catalog in your hometown of different community college classes, something like that. Yeah, it's like actively searching it out. It doesn't always come to us naturally, is what I'm getting. It's that some of us need to search it out. And those examples I gave are all really good ways. Even like one of those online course websites where you can do lots of different things, check out one of those. Yeah, I think that's really going to help someone. Okay, Ace of Wands. What do you want to tell us about this Ace of Wands? I'm just going to go ahead and shift these cards here. Improvise, be flexible, please. Two of Cups. That's like soul family, that's soul tribe, that's something within yourself. Some sort of, I just heard legacy, but it's like I'm getting like an alchemical thing. It's something within yourself. It's like being in touch with yourself in some way with this Ace of Wands. So it's sort of meeting and balancing two sides of yourself, whether that's your human self and your higher self or something like that. It could be masculine and feminine, but I don't feel that way. It's different. It's like two different parts of yourself. Maybe say you're into art and science. It's like finding a position that allows you to do both of those things. Or yeah, it's like balancing two sides of yourself and really having a lot of harmony about it. Okay, should we see what those are? The Hermit and the King of Wands. All right, side message. I think it like needed to be very dramatic there. Side message, Virgo, Hermit. If you've been really isolated and you're looking for a romantic partner, I feel that could be relevant right now. The dramatic way this came out. And it's sort of like finding that within yourself. It's weird. I don't know how to explain it, but do you see how the hermit's looking at this light? And just hold on if you're not into love and romance. Just give me a second. It's a message that needs to come through. It's like finding that within yourself. And do you see how this wand has like new growth on it? It's something with springtime, but it's that energy of like newness, being open to it, but embodying it within yourself first. Also, something about that wand with the new growth, it's going to be really unexpected, I think, for some of you. I've been having a lot of dreams about romantic partners, and I feel like a lot of you are going to have that soon if you've been looking or you've been alone for a long time. And this Virgo full moon, there's something extremely relevant about it. I have channeled for a while that March was going to be important for a certain group who have been waiting for a partner. It was March, but I used to get like March 2020. But if you've been a human in the world for the past 2 years, you know that those 2 years kind of like didn't count. I know that sounds horrible, but that's how I feel as a reader. It's like energetically, it's like a 2 year. I always got a year out of time, but it's like 2 years out of time. And so that feeling of March 2020, I think, has shifted to 2022. Honestly, sounds a little weird, but maybe you'll feel it too. So just as a side message, there is something about romance as a potential. Otherwise, as I said, this Two of Cups is very alchemical right now. And I'm also getting like fire and ether. There's some balancing of elements, whether that's with natural magic or it's just energetic, like meditation, like doing activities that embody fire and spirit. I don't know what those activities would be. You know, let me know if you think of any. But something about that. Okay, anything else? I wasn't feeling those. Anything else for this full moon in Virgo? I want to get this message out as soon as possible so they have time to really let this sink in. Nine of Pentacles and the Page of Swords. Something about being the messenger. It's like whatever you do, whatever your experience is, the way that you live, you're a beacon of light for people, and you're sort of the messenger. That's what I feel intuitively with these two cards. It's you're the messenger. So keep doing whatever it is you're doing. That's what I feel. Keep doing whatever it is you're doing. You're being recognized and rewarded for your time spent as the Hermit. Once you're in it, it's easy to stay in it, right? It's sometimes hard to come out of it. But if you recall, it wasn't exactly easy to get in it. Like, it wasn't exactly easy to give up all that you gave up to become the Hermit, to live the Hermit's life, to live in that cave that held so much knowledge and intuition and information, past life relationships I'm getting, Akashic records, like all of these like mysteries of the universe. I'm getting like harmonics and sacred geometry and all of these things, angel frequencies, crystals, light, healing, codes. But you gave up a lot to be able to be the Hermit because you were asked to, and you heeded that call, you heeded that ask from Spirit, and you're being rewarded for that. I see you, it's weird, it's like your reward is the King of Wands in the sense that you get to be exuberant and childlike and light-filled. Does that make sense? It's like this is your reward, is like being exactly who you are and finding success for that, I think. That's really nice. But as I said, Spirit just wants me to reiterate, you are the beacon, you are the light, you are the messenger. So keep doing whatever it is you're doing, or continue to fully embody what you know you're doing, like what you're on the path to do, right? Once again, with that like brief love message, I do see someone looking at you, and this could be telepathically, like someone you haven't met but you're in contact with in the 5D or in the astral realm, and they're like, yeah, they're looking at you. That's really cool. Watching you, he's smiling. It's like not creepy. It's nice. It's admiring. They're admiring you. So this could even be over the internet, like someone seeing your work and they're admiring you, really proud of you, and like find you very attractive, what you do. Yeah, it's an appreciation for you, for who you are and what you do. I feel that strongly. This Nine of Pentacles is exceptionally abundant. Do you see all of the like foliage around her? It's not just about these pentacles that she's cultivated. It's like interesting. It's like her ability to cultivate them. That's really cool. So this would indicate to me someone who has grown their own wealth or skill set rather than someone who has just inherited it. And as we said, there's nothing wrong with having that. It's just, even if that were the case, you would come with some sort of knowledge about how to keep that wealth and grow it. It's about some sort of cultivation in a skill set. And that's why you're so attractive, is not because of what you have. It's because of your ability to work and to grow things, to learn new things. That's really cool. So that's kind of what people are finding attractive about you, is your ability not only to have and to hold these things, but to grow them, to cultivate them, and to have patience. There's this little snail here. It's something about patience. And the grapes behind her, you know, it takes a while for the grapes to mature. You can't just pick them that day. To like get the right soil, light, acidity. So interesting. It's sort of like whatever it is you do, you're good at, you embody. There's so many facets to it that it's not about just the finished product. It's about all of the skill and knowledge that goes into making that finished product. As I said with the grapes, like the soil, the light, the acidity, how all of those things affect it. And how, yeah, it makes this beautiful final product, but you have to know all of those components and get them just right as like an equation in order for it to be the most beautiful thing, right? So there's something about what you do where there's so many other things that go into it. It just really adds up to this very like, perfect. I just feel this harmonic frequency. It's like perfect thing. Okay. I want to do one of these little angel cards. These are not strictly mine, so I think they're going to have an interesting and different energy than like what I usually pull through, and I wanted that for this reading. It felt important. These are not strictly mine, as I said, these are shared. And I don't usually use shared cards, but they're very neutral. And it feels important for some reason to mention this because something in your life, it's like, yeah, some sort of compromise or pulling from like a different energy in some way. It's weird. Like, say you're a photographer, but you're choosing to use an image from a stock photo database for something. And it's like, whatever that is, it will take you further than you could go on your own. And it's okay to like branch out and use that other thing because it just elucidates, whatever your business is or your creation is in some way. Yeah, it's different. It's kind of a different message, but I hope it rings true or resonates for someone. Full moon in Virgo, 2022. Once again, anytime you catch a reading, it could be relevant. You know, the stars are kind of like a math equation, and sometimes you can have different components to add up to the same number, right? So maybe in your life, the different components add up to the same number at a completely different time, and that's okay. That's when you're on that timeline. That's when you're hitting that frequency where you need to know this information. So that's why it sort of makes sense at different times than like when it's published. Cool. This is really cool. Can you see that? We got some sunlight while we were working. It says spiritual understanding. Archangel Raziel. Oh, there's this beautiful white dove up top with the flower of life, is it? Metatron's cube. Flower of life, I think that's what that's called. I am bringing you esoteric information and symbols and helping you understand spiritual truths. That's beautiful. There is something very important about the Virgo, Pisces axis here. So here's what to do. Pull up your chart, see where this full moon is landing in it. There's going to be some clue about why this message is resonating with you when you do that. It's like, I'm telling you, it's going to illustrate some sort of bigger picture that you're after, that you're meant for, that you are here to do when you look into it. That's all I can get. That's what I'm feeling. Bigger picture. Yeah, so take your chart, plug in the full moon, see where those points are pulling. I just feel like with this V and this triangle here, the 2 points, the Virgo and the Pisces, they're like pulling this direction and that direction, and it creates this like energetic push in order to move you forward. So maybe whatever those 2 houses are, that's like a clue to you of where this is relevant. So say it's your 2nd house, it has to do with your money-making abilities and something about grounding, right? Just as an example. Okay, if you go ahead and try that, and I'm being very much drawn into this spiral. So it's just an indicator to me that this information is true and correct when I get this spiral. And that we're on the right path here. We're on the right path. This message is on the right path. And yeah, it is true and correct. Definitely let us know where this is relevant for you in your life. Okay. There is a spiritual fire in front of him. Didn't we say something about fire and ether? We did. Look at this. I knew there was something. I couldn't go yet. I knew there was something else. There's this fire right there in front. I'm getting plasma too. Yeah, so it's something about like fire and ether. And everything kind of lighting up and clicking into place. Do you see how that's all of these different points are clicking into place? Where did our high priestess go? I'm telling you, there is something really important going on. And in this reading, we went over it, but the full moon should illuminate it for you. If you're not usually a fan of full moons, I think this one is going to be especially clear for you. And it's going to illustrate something to you that puts everything into place. Okay. Many blessings to you, and have a wonderful full moon.